So far, it's been a slow start for the next generation of video games, with gamers only being given a few new gems like Dying Light 2, Demon's Souls, and Deathloop. Considering all other current PS5 games have just been revamps of the previous generation, players long for new titles. Well, buckle up gamers, because today we'll be discussing the highly anticipated game Forspoken, and some of the most noteworthy details we know thus far. Let's dive right in. First, let's talk about the talented developers. This exciting new project is backed up by a familiar parent organization, Square Enix. However, the developers actually in charge of building up the game from the ground up are from an emerging studio, Luminous Productions. Luminous Productions is a Japanese game development studio formed in early 2018, and despite its young age, Luminous has proven to have quite the skillful team with their astonishing work on Final Fantasy XV, a game adored by many fans. Square Enix has promised the release of the gorgeous action RPG on 24th May 2022, and we couldn't be more excited. With the lack of AAA titles on the PS5, Luminous Productions could prove to be one of the defined developer teams of the new generation. Good luck, team, we're counting on you. Next, the promising game engine. With demos that have been released by the dev team, Forspoken has proven to be a game worthy of the next generation. With stunning visuals and fluid physics, the Luminous engine is behind all the astounding aspects of the game. Developed by the same studio as suggested by the name, the game engine has been designed and tailored specifically to the next-gen systems, so we can expect it to push the limits of PS5 and deliver phenomenally well. It was made through the production of Final Fantasy XIII-2, which is why we can expect it to have been given adequate time to nurture and flourish. Despite the several gameplay footage that we've received, fans are yet to uncover the limitations and full potential of the game, but from all we can tell so far, it doesn't seem like it's aligned for any disappointments. Now, let's talk about the story. What has fans excited thus far is the simple yet effective premise of the game. We play the game as Frey Holland, who some have referred to as quite the badass. Her story begins in the real world, in New York. With things looking south for Frey after her time in prison, she feels as if she's hit rock bottom. From getting beat up by thugs to sitting on the corner of a balcony, staring out in despair, she feels like she's run out of all luck. However, things take a sharp turn for her as she gets pulled into the magical land of Athea through a mysterious portal. The player and Frey both get to explore this alien land with compulsive parkour and mesmerizing combat abilities. With her main focus on getting back home, the player and Frey grow as they explore the world together for the first time. This sense of starting together from the beginning makes Frey quite a relatable character with hopefully lots of emotional moments ahead. Additionally, we've got to look at one companion that seems to be by our side all throughout the journey, and we mean that quite literally, as a talking bracelet with a posh accent is stuck to our arm. His name is Cuff, and it feels like having a butler as he guides us through the mystical land of Athea. We have a feeling that he could be the best friend Frey needed all along. Now we have the creative writers. One thing that people often tend to overlook while discussing games is the talented writers behind their favorite games. Sure, it's great to have amazing visuals and gameplay, but what completes a game are the writers with their creative ideas. Forspoken does not fall short in that domain, as the writers that are responsible for bringing the world and characters to life are Alison Reimer and Todd Stashwick. The two have been highly credited for their work across television and digital comics. They seem passionate and excited about the narrative of Forspoken. That's always a great sign. Additionally, Amy Hennig, who has been involved with the critically acclaimed Uncharted series, is also involved. Considering all the moments that the Uncharted series brought us, it's exciting to imagine what she could bring to the table. The writers' crew is looking up to be very promising, and it's safe to say we can have high expectations set for the narrative of the game. And of course, the world itself. Perhaps one of the major aspects to look forward to is the world itself, Athea. In fact, the previous name for Forspoken was Athea, with it being changed later. With the use of modern state-of-the-art technology, it really seems as if the developers have outdone themselves in the creation of the mythical land that is Athea. The broken yet beautiful world captivates one as they swoop and leap through the ruins, mountains, and valleys as Frey uncovers the mystery of the land. With a unique mix between photorealistic and artistic style, it's a sight to be seen. What we know as of yet is that the land used to be governed by kind and well-respected matriarchs known as Tantas. But things took a 180 when a calamitous event known as the Break tore through the land, bringing in monsters, beasts, and corrupting the Tantas into evil and vengeful sorceresses. Frey is the only one not affected by the corruption and might be the last hope of restoring the land to its former peaceful glory. An amazing setup for a potentially great story. Next, the visuals. We cannot discuss the game without mentioning the graphics. With stunning visuals and various environments for it to display its power and full glory, the graphics are simply breathtaking. From the gameplay we've gotten so far, the graphics truly make the world seem alive and all too real. From the sparks of battle to the gold glimmering trail coming from Frey's shoes as she traverses the land, each frame could easily be a wallpaper of its own. If there is a photo made, you can expect us to be spending a considerable amount of our time with it. The lighting and color choices match well with the theme of fable fantasy, with some elements looking photorealistic and some being stylized. It's a fine mixture of the two. Regardless, Forspoken's visuals are a key selling point, making it part of the highly anticipated PS5 games releasing in 2022. And also the parkour movement. A great world requires an equally great way of traversal. Forspoken does not fail to deliver in that department, as one of the major highlights of the gameplay footage have been the parkour-styled running movement of the system. Sometimes feeling as fast as the Flash, Frey uses the magical elements of Athea to make her way across the map at intense speeds. So far, we've observed flying, floating, and jumping throughout the gameplay footage. With such movements, the exploring options are endless, and we cannot wait to try them out ourselves. Now we have the monsters and magic. We've been mentioning mystical and magical elements a lot, so let's have a look at these as well. The trailers have not been shy in highlighting all these features, so you can bet magic and monsters is the core of the game's theme. With unique abilities, taking down these beasts is definitely going to be an exhilarating experience. The beasts appear to have some kind of elemental progression system. Most likely, it would be following a traditional game sense in having higher level bosses at later levels in the game. Another aspect is the combat. It would be criminal to not discuss combat, as this game is an action RPG after all. Combat seems to be a premium mix of real-time combat with magic and damage points being displayed per hit. In the gameplay, Frey has often been observed placing down items like traps and employing special abilities. This is quite a similar approach to Horizon Zero Dawn's trap system, and we're excited to see Forspoken's approach to the similar game mechanics. Regardless, combined with Frey's fast-paced movement and long-ranged attacks, the approach to combat feels quite unique. With an extremely polished-looking statistics screen, the skill branches look promising with much to be uncovered. With lots of loot to hunt and tools to upgrade, the game is certainly following the RPG theme nicely thus far, purely for the next generation. We mentioned earlier that gamers have been struggling to get any new releases for the next generation, which is true. However, it seems like Forspoken is going to be breaking that spell, as it has been made with the PS5 in mind first. So far, titles before 2022 have been tailored for the previous generation, and then being updated to the next gen after release. But with the engine and dev team solely focusing on the next generation performance first, we can expect the game to be groundbreaking and way ahead of the competition. This is certainly refreshing from all the remasters and re-releases of games that we've already played. Forspoken is going to mark the beginning of next-gen console gaming. We surely will be all on board for when that happens. That's a wrap for this video. What has you the most excited for Forspoken thus far? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.